All right, recording starting now. So again, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this week's Weekly Wave. We do have a few updates for you. I'm going to start off by following up with some questions that we got last week after our initial updates. So we did have a question about when the dropout report will be opening in the Wave. I do not have a concrete date for you. It should be opening hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so. We will be giving you all training beforehand and giving you that actual concrete date of when the dropout report will be opening in the Wave. If you do need your dropout report from the previous school year, do reach out to us. We can give you a copy of that. I am referring to the 18-19 dropout report. So if you do need a copy of that, since that is not posted publicly, do reach out to Student Data Info or to our public records office, and they will make sure to get you a copy of your 18-19 dropout report. So again, the 19-20 dropout report will be opening soon in the Wave, and we will be giving you training beforehand, so you know everything going on with that report, as well as the date that it'll actually be opening. The other thing that we got questions on last week was related to COVID and absences. So just wanted to make a blanket statement saying that quarantine students are medically absent, not absent without excuse. So we're going to continue to default to the guidance that we have posted earlier in the school year. This flowchart walks you through how you should be coding your students attendance-wise, as well as how to set up your calendars. We will post a link to that enrollment guidance here in a little bit in the chat. So this is the flowchart for students attending a brick and mortar school. So if a student is absent for any particular reason, is not assigned to a distance learning program while they're not in the building, and they are out for a COVID related reason, meaning they are testing positive, they believe they may have COVID, so they're quarantining, or they have tested positive, like I've said. If they have any of those situations related to COVID-19, then you can go ahead and mark those students with the COV attendance code that we have mandated all student information system vendors to have available for you. Otherwise, if they're not out for a COVID related reason, then you'll go ahead and continue to mark those students as absent with your locally defined codes. And if you do have specific questions about your school situation, do contact us at our email that is on your screen, and we will make sure to get you a specific answer on next steps on what to do there. But again, we're going to just continue to respond to these types of situations kind of on a case-by-case basis, since each school is operating with a different set of rules and policies. So going forward, if you are having issues with the StN system, we have gotten a few emails and whatnot about this pop-up that you can see on your screen talking about transfers in your account. This is talking about your single sign-on account, and you may see this, you may not see this, but if you do see this and you don't know exactly what it is that it's prompting you to update in your account, do just go ahead and press the continue button on the lower left-hand side of your screen. It will let you go into the STN system so you can continue to resolve or create new STNs for newly enrolled students to Oklahoma Public Schools. We are still kind of trying to find out what the root cause of this is. We do know the cause for some users, but for others, it's not as straightforward as we thought it was. So we will continue to look at that, but for the time being, as if this is popping up for you, go ahead and just press the continue button on the lower left-hand side of your screen, and it'll let you go right on through to the STN system so you can continue to do your work. The last thing I do need to give a reminder of, since we are going to be having some of our end of the year reports opening in the WAVE and outside of SSO, there are a few reports that consume WAVE data. So you want to make sure that you are taking a fine-tooth comb through your data validation wizard. We do have a video posted on our website. The link is on your screen, and we'll post it in the chat at the end of this. That'll walk you through the data validation wizard. I know it is 7 years old, but the look and feel of that application is very much still the same. Until we are able to migrate the data validation wizard out of the WAVE, like many of our other applications, that video is going to be one of the better videos that you can look at if you're a visual learner and want to get an idea of what the data validation wizard is there. Otherwise, if you're already familiar with it, keep doing what you're already doing. The other wizard that I wanted to make sure that everyone is taking a look at is the XSD wizard. This is an application that tells you simply errors that are occurring on information we're receiving from your student information system that don't meet minimum data requirements. So what am I talking about? For example, we do collect school information from all student information systems. And one piece of information that we collect is the type of school. Simply being, is this a junior high, middle school, et cetera, et cetera. And those, we are expecting to get a 4-digit number from your student information system. Those all translate to one of the options that I just said, junior high, high school, et cetera. Each of those has a 4-digit code. If for whatever reason we received from your student information system, say a blank, so as if somebody or the application itself just put in a space, they press the space bar, and that's what was sent up to the state, that would be a XSD error. So again, to put that kind of visually, this is not going to pop up as a data validation error, simply because a data validation error would only occur if we are getting the required information. So if your student information system sent us 4 nines, that is 4 numbers. So it met the minimum requirements of that data element, school type. And so that'll pop up as a data validation error instead of an XSD error. If your student information system in our previous example sent just a blank value, spacebar was pressed, and that's what was sent up to the state, that is an XSD error because we didn't get any numbers, we just got a blank. And so that's kind of visually the difference between those two. And so all that being said, how do you find it? For all of you with access to the WAVE, on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see this errors and issues box. It has each of the wizards that we have available to you right now. And the one that you're looking for is the XSD validation wizard. If it says 0, you're great. Your student information system is sending us information that meets the minimum requirements for the data that it is sending. If it is greater than 0, then you'll want to go and follow the steps that I'm about to walk you through. So under the district tab, you should see at the very bottom, if you do have access to this wizard, you'll see the XSD wizard as an option for you to click. When you click on that, you'll see this screen. I'll walk you through it. I know it's very small right now, but this is just the full view of what you would see if you did have an error. So going from left to right, if you do have an XSD error, you'll see first off the date that it was received in our system. You may see this repeat, but every time that you see that date pop in there, that means that that information was sent up to the WAVE and there's an error that popped up on that particular date and time. So for this example, there's a XSD error that occurred on January 26th at 7:02 a.m. Next off, you'll see the object, and this is just telling you what bucket of information that is. We collect a number of different types of information from your student information system, one being school information. And so the error that is occurring right now is related to that. It's related to the school information. And then next off, you'll see the error description. And this is a very long sentence here, but essentially this is just telling you the exact location in the XML that the error is occurring. And to explain it to you very simply, what XML is just a generic data format that we use to translate data between your student information system and the WAVE system. So think of it as kind of like a dictionary for the data that the data standard that we're in. And so simply, the only thing that you need to be concerned about or to focus on with the data error are the two things that I have highlighted here in yellow. One being on the left-hand side of that sentence, it tells you the line number. And then towards the right-hand side, it tells you what the value is, meaning what information is being received by the WAVE. And here, this simply means on line 18, the value that was sent from your student information system to the WAVE was a blank. So that's why that XSD error is occurring. The last thing on that full view that you're able to interact with is the View SIF XML. If you click that, you'll see what you can see on your screen. For some of you, this might be a lot of gibberish. For some of you, you may completely understand what you're seeing on your screen. Like I said earlier, this XML is just a data layout that's allowing your student information system to communicate with the WAVE. And so you don't really need to read anything that's on the screen here. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know what the kind of layout is for XML messages. So there are two options for you in order to correct these issues. For those of you who aren't real comfortable with reading through XML, you can just go ahead, right-click on the screen, and a box will pop up prompting you to save as. You will click the Save As button, and it'll bring up another pop-up prompting you to save the XML document somewhere. You'll just click Save. And depending on how your student information system vendor expects to receive support tickets from you, you'll go ahead, send the XML and the error description to your student information system vendor for review. And they can help point you in the right direction on how to fix whatever error is popping up in the XSD wizard. Otherwise, you can go ahead, copy the entire message and open it in a text editor. I would recommend Notepad++ over Notepad for a reason I'm about to show you visually right now. If you did open it in Notepad, like I said here, you'll want to make sure that you do have the error description handy in some way or fashion, because when you go ahead and paste the message that you copied from the View SIF XML button, and you paste it into Notepad++, it'll look something like what you see on your screen right now. In Notepad++, it'll automatically show you the line numbers. And so again, in the picture here that you can see on the top of your screen, you're looking for line 18. So you'll go to line 18, and you can see the value that it's saying was blank. And right now, we're not getting any information about school type. It just is telling us there is a school type, but there's no context there. If you look at line 17, you can see this is kind of the expected structure that we'd have. You'd have the school type. The school type should essentially show up twice, and in between the school types, you should have that 4-digit number that I kind of referenced earlier. So it should say school type with the brackets, and then the 4-digit number, and then school type again. So if you are handy in your student information system, you kind of understand how to read XML, you can go in here and edit in your student information system the school type and make sure that that gets sent back up to the state. Most of the information that we do require your student information system to send to us does send as you're making changes without prompt. Otherwise, it'll be sent to us on our request schedule, which again, I'll put a link to that in the chat as well. So again, you've got a couple different options here for fixing XSD errors. You can either reach out to your vendor specifically and have them help you correct that XSD error, or if you are really savvy with your student information system and you know exactly where maybe some obscure things are, you can go in here, fix the error yourself, and that XSD error the next time it is sent will fall off without prompt. I did mention that you may see these pop up multiple times. That is okay. That simply means that every time that error is, or that information is being sent to the state, the same error is popping up. So it's just telling you, hey, this has not been fixed. Most of the time, you should only see these XSD errors once. You shouldn't see any duplicates. But again, don't be alarmed if you are seeing the exact same message on differing days. That just means that we have automatically requested for that information, and it is still having an error. Now, I did say that there are two different applications that you could use to view these XSD errors. If you open it in Notepad, the main difference between Notepad and Notepad++ is that Notepad does not have the line numbers. For many school districts, you may have some restrictions on downloading software. So unfortunately, if Notepad is your only option, you will have to go about counting the lines. For some XSD errors, this isn't going to be a problem because you can count 10 lines, but if you had an error that said, hey, this error is occurring on line 300, it might get a little too cumbersome for you. So in that situation, it may just be easier for you to go about contacting your student information system vendor, or if the XSD error is giving you enough clues to the person or student or other information, you can go in there and just correct it on your own. So with that, that was the end of this week's updates. So I'll go ahead, stop sharing, well, I'll continue to share my screen, but I'll go ahead and stop the recording here, open it up for